All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's info session from Neotech Academy, where we are going to explore the exciting career of software testing. We have a software testing boot camp, which we've done many times through the years. We've trained people all around the world. We have a software testing boot camp, as you can see on your screen there, beginning on the 29th of March, 2026. I got to get used to saying that, 2026. Hard to believe that we are just not too far away from the end of 2025. Years just going by so quickly. So here's what we're going to do. We're probably going to have somewhat of a short session today. We're going to go through a little bit about, who we are, what it is that we do. As I said, we've been training people all around the world in software testing for a long time. I'm going to have one of our co-founders come on, Amit, that's his name. He'll be telling you a little bit about himself, a little bit more about the company. He's also going to talk about the placement opportunities that are available. We'll do everything we can to not only train you on how to become a software tester, but also do everything we can to help you land that first job, because that's what's really what the whole thing is about. If you think about it, it's nice to have that skill set, which nobody can take away from you. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what you want to do is be able to use that new skill set to land a job where you can make more potentially than what you're currently making. So we help you out with the job placement. We'll go through the tuition, of course. We have a money back guarantee. We are probably, I'll give you a preview. I'll tell you what the tuition is a little bit later, but I'll give you a preview of it. We are easily the most affordable academy boot camp in software testing that exists. We also have numerous accolades from organizations that evaluate boot camp companies, boot schools, and we have earned, I'll show you in a few minutes, where we've earned top Q quality assurance boot camp, top software testing boot camp out of everybody for an entire year. So we'll go through all that in just a little bit, but we have a very affordable tuition, money back guarantee in writing, job placement. We do everything we can to not only educate you, but help you land that first job. All right. Hopefully that sounds good to you. So why don't we do this? Let's just go ahead and dive into this. So, some of the fastest growing, I'm sure you would agree with this, some of the fastest growing occupations are in IT. And, it's asking the question on this slide, why consider an IT career? I think that's really the reason. We use technology, of course, every day, and you've got technology constantly changing. So obviously, what you want to do is stay, you got to keep up with it. You got to keep up with the changes in technology. And software testing is a great way to begin your IT career. Now, a couple things I want to make sure you're clear on. It doesn't matter what your background is. A common question I get from folks is, well, if I don't have an IT background, can I do this? The answer is yes. Does it matter what my age is? Answer is it doesn't matter what your age is. Okay. Doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter if you have a college degree or not. If you have a college degree in a certain field, it doesn't matter if it's in IT or not. Here's all that matters. Do you have the ability to do the job? Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, I don't have the ability to do the job because I don't have any background or experience in IT. That's what we're going to help you with. Now, the reason why we call this a boot camp is because we're going to train you from the bottom up and actually give you experience on real projects during the boot camp that you can actually put on your CV, on your resume, and we'll help you with your resume too. We'll help you with the interview process, throwing questions at you to make sure you can answer these questions. But we're not just here to train you, but we're here to actually give you projects to work on. So think about where you are right now, not really knowing much of anything about IT. That's usually the case anyway with most of our students. And imagine where you could be, 6 months after this boot camp begins. It's a 6 month boot camp. So just think about where you could be at that point, with a brand new career, and a completely different life change. So your background doesn't matter. Your age doesn't matter. Um, Education doesn't matter. Okay. None of those things really matter. Your language, this is a common question I get to. What if English is not my first language? I would just say this. Can you communicate in English? If the answer is yes, then you should be fine. I mean, the more English you know, the better. But don't worry if, English is your second language or your third language, whatever the case may be. Can you communicate in English? That's really what it boils down to. Now, when we think back, I just want to throw this out there. When you think back to the pandemic, when you think back to COVID, it's hard to believe it's been over 5 years. I mean, getting close to what, almost 6 years ago that the pandemic, started. Remember how everything was shut down, or so many things were? Some cities were completely shut down. But when you think about it, the IT industry, when COVID happened, really thrived. And I think COVID taught us a couple of things. It taught us that tomorrow's not a guarantee. By the way, how many of you would agree with that? Tomorrow's not a guarantee. And that we have to have a plan B. We've got to have a skill set that is viable no matter what is happening in our environment. So there are plenty of organizations, there are plenty of industries that really shut down. Here's my point. During the pandemic, IT thrived. Why? Because we were already working remotely in many cases. And so COVID only increased those opportunities. So I want to make sure you're clear on that. There are remote opportunities available. Is it a guarantee that once you graduate our boot camp that you're going to get a 100% remote opportunity? No, it's not a guarantee. Is there a pretty good chance, though, it could be remote? Yes. And many places offer maybe not 100% remote, but it might be a hybrid situation. I'll throw this out there too. When you're just starting out in IT, you might want to go into the office anyway a little bit, when you first start out to get some interactions with people, learning the ropes, that sort of thing. But just so you know, if that is something that's really important to you, working remotely, they are in the job opportunities in IT are in abundance working remotely. So just so you're aware of that. So what I'm getting at is software testing, IT really checks all the boxes for most people. It's a great way to start. It's a great way to get your foot in the door in the IT industry. Now, what exactly is software testing? Let me touch on this a little bit. Companies spend a lot of money to hire people just like you to test out their applications before they are introduced to the public. Now, why would they do that? They do that because they don't want to introduce a product that is flawed, as you can well imagine. So they'd rather pay someone, and they pay you pretty well to do this, to test out their software. They'd rather pay people what they would look at as being a very small investment. Okay, who cares if we have to pay these guys $90,000, $100,000 to test out the software, because it could cost us millions upon millions of dollars, affect our reputation longer term, even if we introduce an application that just isn't what we wanted it to be. What if the application crashes? What if it's prone to crashing? The company wants to know this before they introduce it. What if the software development team didn't really do the proper fonts? Maybe the background colors are incorrect. It could be something minimal like that. That's where you come in. It's your job to locate, to find the bugs. Now, how will you know what to look for? You'll be given a list called the requirements. Okay, it's like a checklist. You simply go through the checklist and you make sure that everything was done correctly. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to correct the problem. Your job is simply to fill out a form, take you a minute, and you let the development team know that this was wrong, whatever, they take care of the rest. Your job is to find the problem, locate the bug. That makes sense? That's like a 30,000 foot view of really what software testing is all about. And top companies all around the world are hiring people, again, just like yourself, to try out the applications before they go public. Now, what we do here at Neotech is we provide our training just like you're attending now via Zoom. Okay. We have people all the time who already have a regular job. So they've got a 9 to 5 job or whatever time frame it is. They have a full-time job, part-time job, and they manage to squeeze this in our training. Now we're going to go through the days of the week as well as the times in just a few minutes. So we'll touch on that, okay? But if you here's my point. If you miss a live session, because we do it just like going back to school, if you miss a live session, it's recorded. So don't worry about that. You can still watch the recording. You'll still be able to do your homework. You'll still be able to reach out to us with questions. But we're big believers in what is called experiential training. And some of you might be familiar with this. I don't know about you, but I have a difficult time learning anything that has any type of complexity by people just telling me something. You know what I mean? It's like, don't just tell me what to do. I want you to show me what it is you're doing. And then I want you to, explain the rationale, show me what it is I'm supposed to do. Then let me do it, and you let me know if I'm doing it correctly. By the way, you can respond to the chat. Can anybody relate to me when I say that's how I learn best? Maybe some of you relate to that. And that's what we do here. We're not just, we don't just go through PowerPoints and say, okay, you want to, here's this and that and et cetera. No, we're showing you, and then we want you to do it, and then we let you know if you're doing it correctly. And that's how it sinks in. And a lot of things can seem overwhelming at first. I have friends who are pilots. Recreationally, they will fly. Some of them fly professionally. A couple of them fly for airlines. How many of you have ever boarded a plane and you look to the left and you see all these, you look inside the cockpit and you see all these gauges and lights and switches and everything. And what's running through my mind is how did they even know what to do? It seems so complicated. But to them, well, they already know all about it because they were trained. They were trained, they were shown what to do. And then, everything was explained to them. And then they were mentored, right? And then, they did it on their own with someone accompanying them to make sure that they were doing it correctly. So they were evaluated to see if they were doing it correctly. And that's what we do here. So it's not just, telling you a bunch of stuff. We're showing you, we let you do it, and then we make sure that you're doing it correctly. Okay. But I will say this, because we have a career focused syllabus, this is really designed for people who are looking to change their career path. And it's not just changing your career. I mean, in some ways, it's like changing your destiny. I'm not trying to be dramatic about that, but seriously, I mean, there are so many people out there in the world who are underpaid. You know what I mean? It's like they could be making so much more money. And it's not just making the money, but it's able to do the things that you want to do. Having the freedom that you deserve, being able to be there for your family. And freedom can be defined in many different ways. For some people, yes, it is working remotely. That's freedom to them, not being tied down to the office, 40 plus hours a week. That's what this career path can potentially offer for you. It can also mean making more money, being able to put more money aside, and as a result, maybe take 2 vacations a year instead of taking one. However you define what freedom is. But I think about this all the time, how, there are people out there who, that they're in a job, they're doing even a career that's just, it's kind of like a dead end situation. They're capped out on what they can make. They could be doing so much better, having a better overall quality of life on top of that by doing something along these lines. So again, my point is we're career focused. If it's going to be more like a hobby for you, you're not really going to take it very seriously, the training, it's probably not going to be the situation for you. You probably don't want to get involved with this. But if you're really looking to change your life, which can start with changing your career, then you're in the right place. This is what I was alluding to a moment ago, guys, where Course Report, which is very well respected in this industry, they actually rated us in 2023 as the best QA, that's quality assurance, best QA testing boot camp, not just for 2023, but also for 2024. And then Career Karma rated us as the best software testing boot camp for 2024. Who knows? Maybe we'll get 2025 also, but we don't know yet. It's a 6-month course. Now it's going to begin. You'll see the date all over our slides here. I probably should have mentioned this right at the beginning to make a note of this, but yeah, March 29th of March, 2026. It's 6-month accelerated course. So Here's why we call it the accelerated course. I look at it this way. You're going to learn more in 6 months than it would take people literally years on the job, maybe 3, 4, 5 years on the job. We've compressed that down to 6 months. That's why we call it a boot camp, because in a boot camp, you learn a lot in a very short amount of time. Before I went to college, I was in the military and they called it boot camp, and they still do, right? And the reason they do, I guess, is well, you're wearing boots, but you're learning a lot in a very short amount of time. They just throw all this stuff at you, but it's amazing what you are able to retain, when it's all said and done. So we give you a lot of information. We give you hands-on expertise on real projects. So again, in 6 months after doing this, now you've got on your CV projects that you didn't have before. And that's really the whole point of this, because that can then be used to help get your foot in the door with that first job. And by the way, I want to actually Amit, who's one of our founders, he'll come on in just a minute, and he'll show you some of the companies that we have placed people. I mean, it's I mean, basically every company up there on that screen that you'll see in a few minutes, you've heard of. These are all very well known companies. But imagine making 80 to 130,000 a year and not having to wait, 5, 10 years to get to that point. Instead, you're starting out potentially in that 80,000 plus area, which makes this very, very attractive. Now, as you go through the program, as you go through our boot camp, you're going to be exposed to a lot of tools, a lot of languages throughout our program. And down the road, you might decide, okay, I'm interested in being a software tester. I might start out there, but you know what? I might do something more automated. Maybe what they call a software development engineer and test, SDET. It may be cybersecurity analyst, maybe an ETL tester. Now, some of these terms you probably won't be familiar with right now. Don't worry, you'll learn all of this stuff later. Okay. You might wonder, what's an API tester? I never heard of that before. Okay, you'll learn all that. How the computers how communicate with each other. You'll learn all of these things. But my point is, you might start out with software testing, which is what we're focusing on today. But down the road, though, you might decide to go into something that is more at this higher level after you get your software testing experience, that's going to pay you even more money. That's probably the reason why you would do it, right? Maybe you go from making 90,000 a year as a software tester to, oh, if I do this other thing here, man, if I can do Scrum Master, if I can get into that, I could be making so much more. So, but the beauty of this is the sky is really the limit in what this career path will offer you. It's only limited by what you feel you can do, but we're going to do everything we can to get your foot in the door with that first software testing job in this new career path for you. So here's what I want to do. I want to bring on Amit. He's one of our co-founders. He's going to take over here and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, a little bit more about what it is that we do, as well as the placement. I'll come back on in just a few minutes and I'll go through the tuition, money back guarantee, all that good stuff. So, Matt, you want to take over, my friend?
Thank you so much, Eric. Hello, everyone. Uh, my name is Ahmed. I'm one of the founders of Nidhi Academy, and I'm also one of the instructors here. And on top of that, I'm a software tester with many, many years of experience. So today I'll talk more about the next steps, like what happens when you actually get into the program itself. So hope you can see my screen. And what we will be doing is, again, this is our general flow. I don't mean to get deep into that, but we will start with the manual testing because every testing starts with the manual one, right? But what makes you the big bucks, with the money earner is the automation. And how do we automate those tests? With the help of coding and programming. And what do we use for that? We use Java as a programming language, which is one of the most popular ones all around. We will be teaching you a lot of different tools to automate these testings. Okay, so it's going to be like you will have the full thing. But on top of that, I want to emphasize this really, really hard. We're not just teaching you Selenium, which is like front-end testing. We also teach you the back-end testing, which is the database and API. And if you don't know anything about APIs or database or front-end, you will learn. We start from the beginning, like we start from the basics of software, and then we build upon to that knowledge. Obviously, what comes next is really, really important is the resume building and interview preparation. So this is spread out through the whole program. You will be getting a lot of interview preparation material, interview questions, how to answer certain questions and everything. And on top of that, will help you to build your resume. Okay, I'll get more into that when we have it. And then we have the career placement, which defines our success, right? Like this is how we're successful. These are some of the tools we use. Again, these are the uh, like very well known tools by used for by everyone. So you see Jenkins, you see Java, you see Selenium, you see Maven, you see Postman. The reason that we're teaching these tools again, we are doing a market research, and these tools are still there at the top usage, and we want to target that so that you can land the job at that company, right? That's what we do. So how you will learn? You'll learn through live classes. Again, this is important. We're not giving you some pre-recorded classes where you just, watch on your own pace. No, these are live classes, and I'm going to talk about the schedule. And during those live classes, you get to ask your questions. You will have live help. And not only during the classes, even afterwards, you will get technical assistance. If you have any questions, concerns, will be there for you. You will get individual projects. Right? These are really important. Office hours to ask your questions, and these are like not even added in the into schedule. These are additional office hours. If you feel like you need more questions, you can always reach us out. You will have lots of homeworks and tasks uh, to just make sure that you learn what we teach you, right? Coding challenges, which is the most fun. I'm not gonna lie. We have our own platform where you can go and do some coding challenges to, understand Java and like how everything holds together. You will have your final assessment, which is a mock interview. We'll have review classes, group project, quizzes, and mentor sessions. Another thing is the group project is really important because that's where you actually showcase what you've learned, and that will be the simulation of a real work environment. You will have teams, you will have all the requirements, and you will go with Jira, all the tools that you learn. That's where you're going to put it in place. Okay, so that's why it's really, really crucial. Here's our schedule. I know at first it might look a little bit frightening, but let's talk about it. So this program is designed for full-time workers, right? So if you have a 9 to 5, this way you can catch up with classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And on the weekends, it's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Obviously, if you are to miss any of the classes, don't worry, they're being recorded. You can watch it as soon as the class finishes. So that's like totally fine. So you have nothing to worry about it there. I wanted to remind everyone this is the Eastern time zone. And for those, we have students from all around the world, not just US, not just nationwide. Again, for those watching, this is again New York time. That's what we call the Eastern time, right? And the program is set to start on March 29, okay, in 2026. That's next year. If you're interested with like other programs that we have that is starting sooner, you can reach us out, which we have a special slide for that. Eric is going to talk about it. But this is for the software testing, and it started on March 29. So you still have time, which means you have you can take benefit of the best deals possible. All right. So I've mentioned about what defines our success. Job placement defines our success. If you don't find a job, that means we didn't do our job very well, right? So like if you're happy, we're happy. This is the motto I have. But what do we do to do that? So you will have a mock interview. That's your final assessment. That's the only way that you finish the bootcamp, right? You complete all the homeworks, you complete everything. Then we give you a mock interview where you can showcase your skills, what you've learned, and you pass it, you're good to go. We'll build your resume, tailor fit to your background, whatever it is. We'll help you step by step, jump on a call and we'll sort it out. We'll show you an extensive market knowledge on how to apply for jobs, where to apply, when to apply, how to talk to recruiters, how to get, the best connections out of it, how to negotiate, which is my favorite. And you will have one-on-one mentoring. So you will be exposed to seasoned software testers, not just like me, but like we have a lot of mentors who are working in different companies, and they will be there to help you too. So You can do this search by yourself. Just go and do a quick search and see how much as an STAT, which is one of the titles that software testers are using, making. And obviously, this is more like a US nationwide that shows you, because the best way to show it, I want to show you guys our job offer letters that we have. So for that, I might need to stop sharing my screen and start it again with this guy right here. All right. Hope you can see my screen. So what do we have here? This is one of the recent offers we have. We're talking about $87,000. Okay. So this is from Florida, $92,000. I have to remind you, there is no state tax in Florida. We have another one here, 46. I think it adds up to something 90. So not bad. We have 115 here. As you can see, the numbers are going up. I'm not sure about the location here, actually. We might have blocked it out. We have to block it out because this is, again, confidential information. Oh, we have another Florida, 48. Again, this is like almost six figures. We have New York, as you can see, 135, which you can expect. The higher the cost of living, higher the salary, and this one has a $20,000 signing. I'm sorry, annual bonus. Like, this is not just 135 plus the bonus plus the raises, and this is the salary negotiation. I remember that we were talking about it. This is 45. I don't know what happened to this guy. We have another one here, $4,000 bi-weekly, so that would equal to, again, I think almost six figures, like 100K. Base salary of 112 here in Florida. Again, no state tax. It's great. We have $80 per hour, and these are all different offers. And I'll be teaching you on how to assess if it's a full time, what type of benefits you're getting, or if it's a contractor. Again, how to put in your hours and everything. We'll be helping you with that too. So let me switch back to the presentation and all right, yeah. Maybe I didn't mention, but we also have an extensive alumni network. They are working at the top companies all over the world, not just the US. And by being part of the Net Academy family, you also have access to these people. And guess what happens when there is an opening? Companies always prioritize the first their own existing referrals. So they reach out to us and be like, "Hey, I have this position and I want to refer someone. Do you know anyone?" Of course we do. We have you guys, right? So depending on your location, depending on the requirements, then we'll help you with that. And again, we have partnership with like different recruitment companies that we're constantly working again to place you in a high-paying IT job. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna invite Eric back, and he's gonna continue with the rest of the presentation.
All right, great. Thanks, Ahmet. Let me just get my screen shared here. Okay, so you should be seeing the screen that Ahmet was just showing a moment ago with the companies. So let's talk about the tuition, which is probably, I mean, other than the job placement itself, I guess the most important thing to you. Appreciate Ahmet going through all of that. So yeah, we do help you out with job placement, do everything we can to help you land that first job. Of course, it all begins with getting involved, and taking that first step. So let's talk about the average cost of education in general. Now, I've got four kids. I've got two that are in college. Some of you probably are going through a similar situation where, you've got kids and they're thinking about, going to college, or maybe you're a recent college graduate. Not that you have to have any involvement with college at all. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. But whether you have kids in college, you recently graduated or not, you probably know that it's pretty expensive nowadays. I'm sure you would agree with that. Well, notice what it says here. This is every year. This is average cost. A public university is like $36,000 a year. And I mean, there are private universities out there. Some of you are, I'm sure, aware of this. They're like 50, 60, 70,000 plus a year. It's crazy, isn't it? Now, yeah, you can get a scholarship potentially. You can get grants. I'm sure there are grants available, but we have a lot of student loan debt in this country. We have over $1 trillion in a student loan debt. It's become like an epidemic almost. So it's a lot of money. But here's my point: you could owe $100,000 going to a four-year university. That's not even counting graduate school on top of that, maybe. or $200,000, is the university guaranteed to find you a job afterwards? Maybe not guarantee is the right word, but are they obligated to help you land a first job? What about that? Is the university, you go to University of Michigan or Virginia or Florida State, whatever the case may be, they're not obligated to find you a job. Their job is to help you, get you educated, get that diploma, but nothing beyond that. Now let's look at other boot camps. All right. So other boot camps out there, the average is over $13,000 just to get involved. $13,000. And then here's Neotech Academy, way down here. Well, let's talk about how we do this. Now we have a very unique program to help get you involved that keeps the tuition low. Okay, so let's talk about how that works. And the way it works, I'll give you kind of a preview, is we're incentivized to help you land that first job. Okay, so here's how we do it. All right, so stay with me. The regular tuition is $52.49. Now, what we're doing is we don't begin the next boot camp until March 29th. So we're offering an early bird discount of $500 off. Now, the tuition is already low enough as it is. What did I say a moment ago was the average boot camp tuition? It's over $13,000. Ours is 5,000 and change. Early bird discount for getting involved right now brings it down to 47.49. Now, that's not even paid all at once. You can do it in installments if you want. You can pay in 7 monthly installments of $678 a month. And by the way, it's not on the screen here, but reach out to us, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, where we have some third-party financing to bring the monthly payments down to very little. I mean, I'm talking like less than 200 a month, and they offer 36-month financing. So we have a lot of ways possible for you to get involved, okay? But check out this next part. This is where it really gets interesting. We have a placement fee. Now you might say a placement fee. I just want to get, I want to start my first job. I don't want to be, paying anything else. Okay. Well, that's fine, but it's not your entire salary or anything like that. Okay. We keep the tuition low because of the placement fee. So the way it works is this: 85% of your first month's salary, your first month, is the placement fee after you find a job. Now, this is waived if you don't find a job, and that's even paid in installments. It's 4 monthly installments. Okay, so figure out what the annual salary is, divided by 12. 85% of that first month's salary is divided into 4 monthly installments. And we do that because it keeps the tuition really low as a result of that. And if you think about it, because our tuition is so low, lower than pretty much everybody else that's out there, plus we're doing things that they don't even do. They charge you more and we do more. But the reason why we keep it so low, the way we're able to do that is because of the placement. So if you think about it, we actually are incentivized to do everything we can to help you land that first job. We're not just going to educate you and say good luck to you. We want you to land that first job because it helps keep us in business. That's one way of looking at it. So we're taking all the risk, and there's actually a money back guarantee for you, which I'll show you in just a second, okay? But let's bring the tuition even lower. How can we make it even lower than that? Well, if you are referred by a Neotech student, alumni, let us know, and we'll work with you on bringing the tuition down even lower. If you're signing up in groups, like groups of 2, each student gets $150 off. Groups of 3, you get 200 off. Groups of 4 or more, reach out to us and we'll discuss with you how we can bring the tuition again even lower. Now, here's a big question people have. What if I change my mind later? So I get involved. What if I change my mind? Well, there's no deposit, there's no application fee or anything like that. So that's nothing to be concerned about. You don't pay anything until the boot camp actually begins. You start paying when the classes start, not before, and you can cancel for free anytime until the boot camp starts. But let's say it is underway. Well, you have a 30-day money back guarantee, 100% refund if you decide to leave until you complete your first month. I think you'll know within a few days whether or not it's for you. But we give you a full month to then back out of it. I don't know why you would. Very few people actually do that. But hey, life can happen. We get it. So we give you a 30-day money back guarantee. So we give you, how can I put this? We're taking care of every excuse you can possibly think of on why you wouldn't do this. I mean, you're getting into a career that is growing. It's not on the decline, it's growing. I mean, everything is automated nowadays, if you think about it. IT is a growing industry. And I'm going to show you something related to AI in just a second as well. But yeah, okay, then the tuition. Then it's like, okay, what about the cost? Well, okay, we're about the least expensive out there. We're incentivized to help you land that first job because that's an objection people might have. Well, what if I do this and I don't, then I'm on my own, right? No, we're going to do everything we can to help you land that first job because we're incentivized to do it. So we're going to help you out with the job process, the as far as help you out with your resume, help you out with the interview process, do everything we can. I mean, what else do you want? you know? So to learn more about the boot camp, here's what you do. Go to neotechacademy.com/bootcamp. Book a call with our admissions team, neotech.live/call. If you're not ready to call us, you submit your interest, neotechacademy.com/apply. But secure your spot now. The early bird discount is not going to last forever. So that's an extra 500 off. Take advantage of it while you can. This is what I was mentioning to you a moment ago. I just want to throw this out there, okay? We have a we have a boot camp starting in a few weeks for AI. So if you want to keep doing what it is you're doing now, it doesn't have to be IT related. Whatever job you have right now, but you want to add something to it to make yourself more efficient, more marketable, maybe a better candidate for a promotion, then we offer what's called the AI Essentials program. Reach out to us and we'll give you details on this, okay? Now, included in the AI Essentials program, I'm sorry, the AI Engineering program actually includes the AI Essentials program. So this is only a 4-week program. The AI Essentials program is. AI Engineering program is a little bit longer than that. It's a 3-month program. But this is for people who want to, I guess you could say, maybe get a career in AI. Not necessarily though. Maybe again they want to be more proficient. They want to make themselves more marketable, but they want to learn enough to where if they wanted to down the road, maybe have a career that's focused just on AI. But we keep up with the times. We are market driven here at Neotech Academy. So reach out to us. I just wanted to mention that because we address AI, and sometimes, or a lot of people, I should say, who are software testers, they're graduates of ours, and they're like, "Man, I'm out there in the workforce, and everybody's talking about AI. What can I do?" Oh, we have a program for that, so we can help you out for AI as well because everybody's concerned about AI replacing them. Well, you can either jump on the bandwagon here with AI or get left behind. So we address AI. If anybody's concerned about, well, what if I learn about software testing? Well, that AI is, could that replace me? Well, this is how you get involved. This is how you address that. This is how you address the whole concern about AI taking my job. Well, what if you know all about AI? What if you can then, do you think that would make yourself more marketable to a potential employer? Do you think it would make yourself more likely to get a promotion at your current job when someone doesn't have that background? Okay, but just reach out to us. We'll give you more information on that. Those are very, very, they don't cost very much. They're not very expensive at all to get involved with the AI Essentials program, especially. It's hardly anything as far as the cost, but reach out to us. We'll give you some information on that. Anyway, emails for any questions at all. Team@neotechacademy.com. Schedule a phone call, neotech.live/call. I mentioned that to you earlier. Some people do like to just pick up the phone and give us a ring, 929-566-3919, and you can talk to someone right away. Now, why join Neotech Academy? Why even do this with us as opposed to some other avenues, I guess you could say? Well, let's run through a few of these. I won't spend time on all of them, but just run through a few of them real quickly. What if I just want to do this on my own? How long will that take me? Well, I don't know. How long will it take you? Are you a procrastinator? Most people procrastinate. I have a friend. I always tell this story. He bought a book. He bought War and Peace. He went to an estate sale, and he loved the way how the book was bound. It was just a beautiful, beautiful looking book. He showed it to me, and it was very, very classy. And he's like, I've always wanted to read War and Peace. And I used to joke with him about this. I'm like, so what chapter are you on? His name was Patrick. So, Patrick, what chapter are you on? And he would say, Oh, I'm still on chapter one, like 2 years later. So, people, it's human nature to put things off. So, how long will it take you if you're self-taught to learn the things that we could teach you? Who knows? And you probably won't learn the right things anyway. No offense, just doing it on your own. If you go to university, we talked about the cost of university earlier. It's going to cost you many more times than what we would charge you, your tuition with us is going to be substantially less than university. And how often do you meet a university professor who really has world experience? I remember taking business classes with professors that never started a business. A lot of them have been in academia most of their adult life after university, after they were educated. So you learn a lot of theory at university. It's not always as hands-on as you would like. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases it is. Many cases also you have a lot of students. There's not a lot of, one-on-one support. So when you think about all these other avenues, other ways of getting educated, teach yourself, online, university. Well, it's a whole lot more. The cost is substantially more. Takes you a lot longer. You probably won't learn the right things. Meanwhile, with us, it's very straightforward. It's 6 months. It's hands-on with people like Ahmet, whom you just met a moment ago, who's actually out there in the world doing it. He's an industry expert trainer. We have career services. Our content is market driven. Hence, we are teaching about AI now. So we want you to be ahead of the curve, not behind it. And we offer pretty much, we offer one-on-one mentorship and nearly 24/7 support. So we're going to be here for you. We're going to help you land that first job, do everything we can to help you land that first job. We don't leave any stone unturned. But I can't emphasize enough, take advantage of that the early bird discount, get the extra 500 off. As I mentioned to you a moment ago, we'll do everything we can to get you involved, to get your foot in the door with that, to land that first job. It might be software testing. It might be something else. Maybe you feel like you've learned enough in the boot camp. You can go into something more automated. Okay, that's feasible. That's possible. A lot of people start out with software testing and they branch out from something after that. But you're not waiting 5, 10 years after you start in this career path to start making good money. You can start making good money right away. Don't believe me? Check it out yourself. Just go to Glassdoor. Just go to anywhere you look for jobs. To go to any job board in your area, look for what they are. Look for software testers. You'll see it. Whether it's manual or automated usually pays more, you know. And we're going to teach you those things. So I'm going to bring Ahmet back on, and I've got so many screens here, guys. Sometimes my little boxes get moved all around. So where's my chat box? Here it is. All right, let me drag that over. And so if you guys have any closing questions here, we'll take your questions, and if not, we will wish you the best, and I'll say congratulations for taking advantage of our offer here.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, this was definitely great, really informative. And if you have any questions, we are here to listen. But again, you might have questions later. And for that, I'm just going to drop a link to the chat where you can just book a call. That's the best way to reach us out. Or you can call us directly or send us an email. And if you have questions about our upcoming programs, again, it can be AI programs that we have. Please let us know. We're more than happy to assist you on that too. But for this program, between us, since you guys already joined here, in order to get the best price possible, just do an application. And as soon as you fill out the information, no payment is needed. You will just save your spot and you will take advantage of the highest possible discount ever. And when the March 29, 2026 comes along, then that's the only time we're gonna be asking for payments. So that's really important. And we have the 30-day refund policy. So take advantage of that. We would love to get to know you. You can get to know us. No hurt feelings if you decide to drop. That's how it is. We're really, really proud of our system here. So we're more than happy to seeing you in our classes. Yes, no questions. Thank you, Gara. Thank you so much for joining. Have a lovely weekend.
Take care, guys.